you're careful.
So we will find out who's going to be on the play here in just a moment. It looks like Jesse Harper as he's taking a look at his hand first. And nothing official at this point, but we will see, of course, who does begin things in just a moment. Harper does not look too thrilled with his hand, knowing that this is the one game here for top 8, and Shane Anderson's going to send his hand back. Did not like what he saw, so Harper happy, and will begin things, and Shane Anderson certainly not. As these two players do shuffle up here very quickly, we will talk about SCG game night one more time here before we do wrap up our coverage on Saturday. Coming in September at participating stores, which can be you. I promise it's not hard to sign up. 2 pins and 8 foil tokens per week. New pins and foils each month. This will begin every Wednesday in September. StarCityGames.com/game night is where you need to head for information, of course. You can also have your organizers email gamenight@starcitygames.com. It is now worldwide. This got popular pretty fast, so we have it everywhere, not just in the States. Anywhere you want it, you can sign up. Again, StarCityGames.com/game night. Sign up to get more information. We hope you guys enjoy it, beginning on Wednesdays in September.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, there's already there's opportunities to play on the weekends without question, but it's always fun when there's a good opportunity to get together in the middle of the week.
Especially, little gaming after school.
Oh yeah.
Sign me up.
So Jesse Harper leading things off with a Temple of Malady.
Here is one of plenty. Take a look at the top card here. You saw Andersen with the less impressive Godless Shrine. It does have a Blood Baron in hand, which would be pretty useful
Underworld
in this
Connections.
matchup. That's a good card,
Two
too.
of them. That's exactly what he's looking for. Particularly since Shane, his only answers are a couple of, he's got a couple of Banishing Lights, and then maybe he'll board in the third. Maybe he wants Deicide, but this is, in general, I think Underworld Connections is just top-notch, exactly what Harper's looking for.
Saw a Temple of Silence there from Andersen before passing the turn back. Harper going to cast a Thoughtseize, wants to see exactly what's going on. There's a Blood Baron, a Sin Collector, and a whole bunch of lands. So there goes the Blood Baron.
It's important to note, if you put Underworld Connections on a Mana Confluence, you don't have to take the damage.
That's good to know.
Whereas, you take the damage one way or the other. You're either losing the one from Connections or the one from Mana Confluence, but it's not like City Brass. If you put Underworld Connections on a City Brass, you'd be losing 2 each time.
Sin Collector shows up to the party. It's going to miss. 2 copies of Underworld Connections and a Blood Baron of Scopa. A very nice hand here for Jesse Harper.
Absolutely. This is exactly what he's looking for. What I thought was kind of curious, though, was why play a Mana Confluence there instead of the Overgrown Tomb?
Yeah,
but I think he's
tapped.
Yeah, he might be trying to represent some kind of a removal spell.
He will take a draw here. Does have that untapped Swamp to lay down if you'd like.
Yeah, Harper definitely looking to start connecting with the Underworld.
Also has a Sylvan Caryatid here at the ready as well. Looks like he will be connecting with the Underworld. Going to put it on.
He knows the technology.
Yes, he does. Andersen's going to untap here with the Sin Collector out there. Again, he had all lands after that Sin Collector. We'll see if he's able to run her off some spells here that can make a difference. That's a Godless Shrine. This looks like a spell as he is tapping mana. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be a Banishing Light. So in response, an activation of Connections will net Harper a card, and then the Connections will be taken care of. In comes the Sin Collector for 2. Harper's going to go down to 15. And we'll see what Jesse has to do on his 5th turn. See if he is happy with the 5th land here for the Blood Baron.
Shane, not a lot going on at the moment.
No.
All he does is sin, 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 sin.
I'm looking through his deck here for Devour Flesh, and you are going to find... Uh-oh.
Yeah, he seems to be a little short.
Oh, no. None in the main deck. None in the sideboard.
Yeah, he's completely reliant on those 4 Lifebane zombies for his anti-Blood Baron technology.
Now, Harper opted to drop a Sylvan Caryatid. Imagine trying to play around Devour Flesh a little bit, play his Blood Baron the next turn, and then he'll be okay. He also has the ability to cast a Bile Blight here as well, so slow playing the Blood Baron at this point. But no good attack here for Shane Andersen, so Advent of the Worm here, the draw for Jesse. And now he says, I'm going to tap 5 right now, and I'll take 1 to do it. And I am going to deploy a Blood Baron of Viscopa.
Yeah, that's definitely a real strong play.
Is Blood Baron good against the black-white deck?
If so, why?
I'll have to let you know after, I think. Oh, boy.
That's the answer.
Yep. Elspeth is the
Spoke
answer.
too soon.
That's going to tick down. There goes your Blood Baron. Timely draw there for Shane Andersen. Elspeth only a 2 of, but showing up to the party and making a difference. Looks like Harper has a lot of reactive spells. There's 2 copies of Bile Blight. A Golgari Charm as well. There's the Advent of the Worm.
He does have, so yeah, obviously his plan here is the Advent of the Worm, but he also has Golgari Charm to sweep the board, hitting the 3 tokens in the Sin Collector. But what's curious is he still hasn't played that other Connections. He's got another Underworld Connections, and he actually has just been slow playing it of sorts.
Oh, Lifebane Zombie 2. That bites the dust to the charm. Golgari Charm's never
and there he
so
sees
good.
the Golgari Charm. He knows how it's going down.
Go ahead, take up that Elspeth. I don't mind. I can take care of everything. And Shane cannot be too thrilled at what he sees. Doesn't even get a hit. Because Advent of the Worm you cannot take. So we can see a really big turn here from Harper, assuming the mana lines appropriately, of Advent of the Worm plus Golgari Charm at the end of turn, and then just move forward from there. And that's one heck of a turn.
Yeah, this is the rock in a hard place that you've heard so much about.
Elspeth will tick up to 2.
Shane, seeing if any chance Harper wants to respond to the token making with Golgari Charm.
There's an Advent of the Worm. A 5/5 is on its way here. And we don't see a charm just yet. As Harper will take a draw. There's a Godless Shrine.
Looks like Harper is wanting to see if he can preserve his options, save that Golgari Charm for something even more threatening, like maybe an Underworld Connections, and instead just rely on Bile Blight to punch through this Advent of the Worm.
We're just going to see an attack here for 5, so no removal spell beforehand.
I assume he's attacking Elspeth, right?
I would imagine that's the case.
And it is Elspeth. Now, keep in mind, even if Shane blocked with Stone Cold everything, the 2 Bile Blights would hit the Lifebane Zombie and the 3 1/1 tokens, allowing the Advent of the Worm to kill everything, live, and still kill Elspeth. So this is a totally fine attack.
And everything is going to block this. Now, of course, you can't just save all of your cards here. But yeah, I would want to cast a spell. And there is Bile Blight. That's going to take care of those.
So he does need to use his other Bile Blight, or he'll lose the worm.
This is no situation I'd be interested in losing this worm. So, wow, he's going to lose the worm.
He would rather have the Bile Blight and the Golgari Charm instead of... I guess he'd rather have the Golgari Charm than an Advent of the Worm and a Bile Blight, and he would rather have the Bile Blight than the Advent of the Worm.
And now here is Underworld Connections, and just going to pass the turn back.
Shane Andersen, little long on mana though. He does have, he's got 2 Mutavaults going for him, so he's going to put a little bit of pressure on Harper. Harper, though, a fistful of options, an Underworld Connections, still plenty of life, and quite frankly, in a commanding position.
It looks to be the case, that's for sure. See, if Blood Baron Viscopa was the draw off the Underworld Connections.
Why not?
Absolutely.
That's what I'd be looking for.
Best card in your deck right now. Might as well draw it. And it does come into play.
And it's nice. He still has mana to operate the Underworld Connections. Shane hoping to draw the one other Elspeth that he has in his 75.
Here's 3 mana. Let's see what this is. That's a Sin Collector. Well, there are some targets here. The Bile Blight and the Golgari Charm.
Yeah, I mean, Harper, definitely protected both of the Golgari Charm and the Bile Blight earlier, so it's nice to be able to hit one of them. You probably just take the Golgari Charm, right?
I'd take the more flexible card. Which is
I mean,
the charm.
the tough thing, though, is the Bile Blight basically single-handedly stops all the Mutavault counterplay that he's got going. The tough thing, though, is that Blood Baron, I mean, the Blood Baron's going to attack, and I don't know. See, I think if you get rid of either way, you know, whichever he keeps out of Golgari Charm and Bile Blight, either one is going to protect his Blood Baron.
Yeah, so he's going to be safe no matter what.
Yeah, because, you know, Golgari Charm obviously can regenerate the Blood Baron if it fights the 2 Mutavaults. Bile Blight can just kill both.
Pack Rat the draw here.
Absolutely.
That'll close things out pretty quickly, you have to imagine, as here's an attack for 4. No good blocks here for Shane Andersen, so he's going to take 4. He's going to go down to 16. Harper's going to go up to 15.
The key, I think, really is, and it looks like he also drew another Bile Blight off the Underworld connection, so he has literally everything and the kitchen sink. So really, I guess, if he's going to try to make a comeback, I guess it starts with Elspeth, but it might already be too late.
Yeah, here's a Thoughtseize. That's going to take the Bile Blight.
So this does mean that Harper is without an immediate answer to Mutavault, meaning that at least Shane has the plan of 2 Mutavaults blocking the Blood Baron and slowing the bleeding, and hopefully in the next turn coming up with an answer to Pack Rat, which hopefully doesn't grow too big to kill with Bile Blight.
We're open for a lot of things here.
Yeah, particularly since he doesn't have any Bile Blights in his main deck. He's got 2 in his sideboard, so he's at least drawing live, but it's definitely hoping for a lot.
Abrupt Decay, the draw there. You see an Advent of the Worm as well.
Noteworthy, Abrupt Decay does not actually hit Mutavault.
This is true. Just going to pass the turn back, Will Harper. Looking to pick a better spot with these creatures. Maybe make some more rats here, as Andersen does draw a card. Time for, looks like another discard spell. It's another copy of Thoughtseize. Advent of the Worm will be cast in response to that.
What exactly information is that?
So we will show a copy of Abrupt Decay, which will get discarded. Andersen will lose 2 life, and then those 2 lands will be the last cards remaining here.
So Shane really needs Elspeth literally ASAP.
Maybe yesterday.
Yeah, but you know okay. It looks like maybe Blood Baron is ready to trade with those 2 Mutavaults after all.
What I think makes this play a little bit easier for Harper, I think his draw this turn was a Hero's Downfall. So if there's a double block here, it's going to get blown up pretty badly. And there is a double Mutavault activation. Looks like there will be some blocking here taking place.
The tough thing, though, is that the Pack Rat is now just gone. Trading with a
Sin Collector.
Does he have 3 mana? Yeah, because if he uses his 3 mana, he can still get another Pack Rat and at least have that still going on.
Yeah, that's fine. Looks like that's exactly what's going to happen here. So Blood Baron will take out that Mutavault. Pack Rat will trade with Sin Collector. 5 damage will come across from the Advent of the Worm, and there'll be a Pack Rat left after this. So some creatures will trade in combat here, but things do favor Harper greatly.
Yeah, an Elspeth this turn.
I don't even know if it's enough.
Well, it kills both the Advent and the Blood Baron, and it leaves Harper with just a Pack Rat. The Pack Rat gets to kill the Elspeth the next turn, you know, but at least Andersen lives 1 more turn.
Yeah.
And on that next turn, he could draw a Bile Blight and then kill the 3 rat tokens that are able to be alive at that point.
And then we need a deicide from the Underworld connections, I think. And then, I mean, it's going to take a certain string of cards. But I'm not sure that he even found the first step. You see Andersen taking a look at the graveyard here, realizing that he may just be beat.
Underworld connections would help, possibly. Like if he goes Elspeth, minus, next turn connections, draw Bile Blight, the rats, and then just start, well, I guess he's going to need to, well, he doesn't play Great Merchant, though. So he's going to need Obsidian to start gaining some life.
Andersen with 2 cards in hand, thumbing them back and forth, maybe realizing that his tournament is coming to a close here in just a moment.
It's difficult to imagine that he could possibly have the Elspeth after the way that he has shuffle those two cards back and
Yeah.
forth. It would take a very special kind of person to be able to tank for a minute after drawing the Elspeth and come out of the tank with, I guess I'll play the one card in my deck that lets me live another turn.
Yeah, and kill your two best creatures.
What I want to see is him just come out of the tank with two different cards that are awesome, that it was just like, didn't want to play it last turn, and I've just been waiting.
Here's 4 mana. There's a Whip of Erebos.
God, it sure would have been nice to have that last turn.
Yep.
Gain a little bit of life off the Mutavault the Sin Collector, just to have a little something, but it's too late.
Yeah, it
think-
looks to be a
I think
lethal
this is
attack.
it.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. Jesse Harper is going to win this match over Shane Andersen. You can see Andersen is devastated. Harper moves on to 8-1-1, and with any luck, he ends up making the top 8. All he can do is shake his head in frustration in those games.
Nice to see Junk mid-range representing.
Yeah, it looks like there's a chance that we see Jesse Harper in the top 8, depending on how the breakers do break. But you can see just how much it meant playing for top 8 here for Shane. As you can see, he is frustrated. As we will come